So today we're going to be going over LeadProsperous new API filters. So what an API filter does is it allows you to set a filter on the campaign, buyer, or supplier level, just like any other filter. But what this filter will do is it'll send an API request to any API you want. And then based on the API's response, you could decide whether or not you want to allow or block that lead. The way that we have it set up is just like any other payload. So you have your URL, you have your post body, you have your custom headers, and then you're going to set your response mapping. We've actually added a few new conditions into that response mapping. So now you'd also, on top of the already existing conditions, you have the ability now to uh, map an accept based on whether the key value is greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or between two values. And where this comes in handy is if you're dealing with a third-party lead scoring solution that might return a score, but you don't want to, you say you want to only allow leads through that are within a certain threshold of that score, you can set it up that way. And then anything outside of that threshold will be considered either blocked or however you set it up. So you also have the ability, based on the type of campaign, to choose at what point you want the filter to run. What I mean by that is if you have a direct post campaign, you can set it on the pre-ping or the post. And if you have a ping post campaign, you can set it to run on the ping and or the post. So you have a lot of control over when this is run. And let's just dive in real quick. So the example that we're going to set up today is an internal do not call check. So what this is going to do is, say you're running a campaign where you're sending to agents and those, or you have a buyer that has a specific, API that they want you to check against to see if any of the phone number for the lead is on a do not call list that they have. So they're giving you an API URL and what the payload is supposed to be. And we're going to use that in order to customize our API filter and then block or allow the leads based off of that. So I've built out a test here in Postman. So let's dive in and I can show you how it works. And then I'll show you how we're going to set it up. So this right here is our check number. So it's very simple. It has a URL and it's post body, and that's all we're going to go off of. So what we're doing here is we are going to check against a number. And if I hit send, we're going to hit that API, and the message returned from this API response is number not found. So this is an example of what we would use to accept as an accepted response, because what this is saying is this number is not on their internal DNC list. Therefore, we can use this lead. Now, if I were to update this number, let's say and I run it, this number isn't on the internal list. So the message returned is this number is on the DNC list, and we would want to block any leads that come back with this. So you can choose how you want to set up the filter to allow or block. What we're going to do is we are going to block based off of this message in particular. So I'm going to copy this right here, and then we have everything we need here as well to set it up. There's no custom headers. So let's just go right in and start setting this up. So I'm in my campaign. And if I scroll down, I'm going to go to filters and add in a filter just like any other filter. So I'm going to set this on the global level. I'm going to add API filter. And now this is where we are going to be able to see all the options that we have available. So like I said, we have the ability to set it. We're a direct post campaign right now. So we have the ability to set it on the pre-ping or the post. And or both if we wanted to. Something to note is that if you're on a ping post campaign, you would have pre-ping would be hidden or grayed out, and then you would have the ability to choose to accept it on the ping. So I'm going to set this on pre-ping and post, and let's go to our adding in our post URL. So let me pop back into here, and I'm just going to copy over everything that I need to. We're going to be using JSON, and then my key here is phone, and then the value we're going to use is going to be pulled from our phone number. Now the response type is JSON. I know that from Postman right here. So this is a very simple response. So I know I'm going to be looking in the message, and the message key and the value we're looking for is this number is on the DNC list. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to choose the action to block and now condition. And this is the list of all the conditions, including the new ones I mentioned: key greater, key less than or equal to, or key is between. So we are going to set the key to message and the value to this number's on the DNC list. If you're confused about how to set it up, I always recommend using our response parser tool. It's a great tool that allows you to basically copy an API response and paste it in. And actually, let me open it up real quick for you. And what I can show you how you could use it in this case is all I'm doing here is going to the response, copying it, pasting it into the left-hand column on our response parser. And then in the right-hand column, I have the ability to click what the message is, and then I can do key contains message and then whatever we want it to be. In this case, it'd be this number is on the DNC list. So let's go back and set this up. All right. So here is our block. And then let's say we wanted to add a custom error message. This is optional. Otherwise, it's just going to return back API filter block, API filter block this lead. And we're going to say, we'll just use the same message. So this number is on the DNC list. And let's save and close. So I have this now set up on the pre-ping. And what I'm going to do is open up my supplier API specs. And I'm going to test this on the pre-ping by scrolling down, going to my pre-ping. Let's open this up in Postman. And very easily, we are going to just quickly set up a test by copying in this payload. And what I want to do here is replace this phone number with, let's just add in a random phone number and see what happens. So right here, I'm going to enter 212-867-5309. And this is now when I hit send, it's going to pre-ping my campaign and the filter is going to be checked against. Let me just confirm one thing because most of the filters, I don't think I enabled it. Yep. So let me go in real quick and resume this. So now the filter is actually on. And if I go back to Postman and I send this, I see here that this was accepted. And if I go back to my other API and I check this number, which is where, sorry, give me 1 second. And if I check this number against our internal API, you see here, number not found, no record. So this was correct. The number was not found on the DNC list. Therefore, it allowed it. Now, if I go back and add in a different number, so let's do, say 954-867-5309. I see here we returned an error, rejected by API filter. This number is on the DNC list. So the filter worked correctly and it blocked the number from appearing and being allowed in. So this was set on the global level. Again, you can set this on a supplier level or even a buyer level if you have a buyer with a very specific API that they want you to check ahead of time. This, again, is just an example. You have the ability to check against any API that you want to. So the possibilities are endless, but it's a very powerful tool to help you in real time check against real-time data and choose to block or allow leads based on that. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to support. You can do that by going into choosing the support widget right here at the bottom of your account, or you can always send an email to support@leadprosper.io. Thanks.